Ow! Sorry, mate.
Jeremy, no!
G'day you cheeky dogs, today we're going to be breaking down the Bluey episode Backpackers. We're going to be talking about the Easter eggs, the hidden Australian kind of details in this episode, some of the censorship with it, as well as why this episode was disliked by some people as well.
G'day cheeky dogs, my name's Margie and I'm an Australian currently living in America.
But if you love Bluey as much as we do here, don't forget to hit that like button down below, that subscribe button, and that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other Bluey themed videos. So let's get into Backpackers.
What's backpacking? It's where you go on holiday and you carry everything you own in big backpacks. Can we play it? Yeah!
I want to talk about the Easter eggs first, in particular the Pixar Easter egg, because when the girls are walking along the market street, we actually see the famous Pixar ball in the background multiple times, because obviously they're like walking back and forward. But this is one of the first ever kind of real references to another really big animation studio, and I absolutely love it.
Ooh, look at that temple.
We do, of course, have some of our traditional Easter eggs as well. We saw 3 tennis balls in total. So next to that Pixar ball, we also see 2 of the tennis balls, one in the ball basket and one just out the front of it. And we also see another ball in the sandpit when Chili and Bandit are like shaking out the girls and one falls out of bingo.
No passports here.
We also have a long dog as well. When they are first walking into the shed, you can see the long dog down the very bottom. It is a brown one just sticking up next to the bicycle. We also have some little like dog details and jokes in this as well. So the first one is the guidebook that Chili's holding. Aside from the fact that it says like India on it, there's a little bone up the top as like the logo. But then also again, when the girls are walking through that like market street, we see bones on one of the sheets in the background as well. The other little funny little dog one as well is there's actually a picture of like a dog Buddha in front of like the rickshaw that the girls have set up as well. When you zoom into like the very front of it on like the little pedally motorbike part, I think that's really cute because again, it is very much what it looks like in Southeast Asia when you get on like a tuk-tuk or a rickshaw. They always seem to have like a picture of Buddha at the front.
Passports.
You need our passports? Hang on, they're in my backpack.
The other little details are also Australian references, which I absolutely love. The first one, of course, is the passports that look exactly like our passports in real life. We also have a kangaroo and an emu on the front of them. We also see Bandit's Queensland jerseys. So he has, again, in that market space where they're like hanging up all the clothes, you can see the Queensland jersey right at the very end. And of course, we know that they support the Maroons because of the episode The Decider.
Ready for this?
Oh yeah, come on Maroon!
And then, of course, we also see one of the very famous Australian birds, which is the kookaburra, in one of like the pass away scenes as well on top of the house. The next thing I want to talk about is the locations in this episode as well, because even though they are technically like doing everything around their backyard, at that very end scene when they are outside of like Chili and Bandit's bedroom overlooking the veranda, it's really cool to see some of like the iconic Brisbane landmarks that they put into it. So of course you can see the Brisbane like city skyline, you can see the Story Bridge in the background, but just before that in the foreground a little bit, you can actually see one of the very famous planetariums in Brisbane as well, which is the Sir Thomas Brisbane Planetarium. And even the house that's next to it looks a lot like a house in real life as well. And Bluey Locations over on Instagram did a great side-by-side of all of these pictures. The next thing I want to talk about though is the inconsistencies and the censorship in this episode as well.
Bingo, tummy ache.
Oh, mamma mia.
So the first one is some of the inconsistencies, like the deck. We see the magical deck that we saw in Horsey Ride, which of course then disappeared and we never saw again. It actually reappears in this episode Backpackers when Chili is off taking a photo of a temple, which is a hilarious joke.
Ooh, look at that temple.
Oh, great. Another temple photo.
But we see the side of that deck randomly reappear again, which like just is so confusing because where did that thing go? The other inconsistency, of course, is the clothes yet again. So when they're walking through that market street, not so much the Queensland jersey, but the jeans. Why are there jeans and socks? Like we never see them wearing jeans or socks anytime. So that always is just so confusing to me. But I did do a Bluey theory about it. I'll put a link up here for it. And I have like a whole playlist of Bluey theories in the description box down below if you'd like to check it out.
Hang on driver, I want to stop and take a picture.
Oh, come on.
The other one that a lot of people picked up on, of course, was the earphones. It looks a lot like one of those old like iTunes, iPods kind of thing. But the fact that the earphones don't actually go in their ears, they go like on their temples. So maybe they're bone conducting earphones. It's always like a weird little thing in Bluey with them.
Ah! Oh!
As for the Southeast Asia censorship of the Bluey episode, I'm actually surprised because a lot of people on Reddit seem to actually agree with the censorship of this or kind of think that it shouldn't have been in there. So not surprisingly, the part that was cut out was where like Muffin tells Bingo to give him a tummy ache and she's like punching him in the guts and she keeps doing it. All those punching scenes were cut out of that episode, as well as when like Bandit and Chili say ding dong to each other.
Now who's the ding dong?
And it seems like a lot of people on Reddit kind of agreed with this. Like a lot of them really liked the episode, but just didn't like how Bandit was kind of getting beat up on all the time, or just having all the bad storylines almost in this episode for like comedic relief. But it didn't feel comedic when like those punches sounded really bad. Like they sounded like they hurt. And yeah, I get it for like the episode Dad Baby where we see Bingo punching him because she's meant to be like pretending to kick him like a baby inside. But I don't know, yeah, there was something about this. Like she could have like tickled him to pretend he had a tummy ache or something like that. Like it did seem a bit much, the punching, and I did feel bad for Bandit. So I can see where the people on Reddit would dislike this episode because of that. For me though, in general, I did really like this episode and I would give it 4 out of 5 long dogs, specifically because it is such a perfect representation of Australian youth culture, like around that sort of 17 to 24 years old of age, like when we all go backpacking. It's a really big thing in Australia once you finish school or while you're in uni that you would go backpacking overseas, either in Southeast Asia or usually over in Europe as well, like on a Contiki tour. And we've heard multiple times in the show, obviously, that Bandit and Chili did love to travel heaps. Like they met in London and they also went backpacking in Italy, which is where they proposed to each other. We hear them speaking like multiple languages even within this episode. Like they speak French at one point, Italian, German, and then I think they say namaste at one point too.
Bonjour, mate.
Bonjour.
Namaste, mate.
Sacre bleu. Mamma mia. Oh, buongiorno. Come stai?
They obviously like are mixing in different parts of like random words that they've picked up while they've been traveling as well. And of course we do see them actually backpacking in India because of the picture at the very start of the episode. And some little cool details is like they're obviously in front of the Taj Mahal because that's what the building looks like in real life. But they also seem to both have bindis on their heads too. But that was just obviously something in the show that they wanted to do to show that they were specifically in India in that picture. Overall, of course, the details that the girls did and set up for this like mystery kind of adventure in the backyard did feel very Southeast Asian. I can understand why there would be someone selling croissants and baguettes in Southeast Asia because the French did colonize a large part of Southeast Asia, so like that does exist. So I can see how they would mash that up in there. I do love the creativity though of using seed pods to create the baguettes and the croissants. I thought that was such an amazing detail that the animators did. Of course, the rickshaw was fully set up to look like one that you would find in Southeast Asia as well, with everything from the elephant on the top, the little elephant charm like within inside it as well, and the Buddha picture at the front. This looks so much like the ones that you would find in like India or Thailand as well, so I think they made this come to life so perfectly. And of course they had the joke about the temples and the fact that there are so many temples in Southeast Asia, and it is a bit of a joke that like once you've seen one, you've seen them all kind of thing, like castles over in Europe and the UK.
Ooh, look at that temple.
Oh, great. Another temple photo.
But you always want to take a picture of them every single time you go. So I did love that joke in there too. The music, of course, was also really well done because every time we sort of moved to a different scene, the music changed up just slightly to kind of match that vibe of the scene.
Hey, look, some guy's selling croissants. I'll be right back.
Please don't eat too many.
Bonjour, mate.
Bonjour.
I'll take 1 croissant, please.
So again, kudos to Joff Bush and his team because the music was amazing. And I think probably my favorite joke, because it's kind of like an ongoing thing, was the part where poor Jeremy fell down and they're like, Jeremy, no!
Sorry, mate.
Jeremy, no.
Because of course from that point onwards, Jeremy is broken in every other episode that we see him in. So cheeky dogs, let me know in that comment section down below, how many long dogs would you give this episode out of 5? And what did you think of the episode Backpackers? Did you think that it was too rough on Bandit? Did you love it? Did you not love it? If you are Australian and you've traveled overseas, did you enjoy the backpacking aspect of it as well? Let me know all your thoughts and feelings down below. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other Bluey themed videos. But until my next one, I have Picture Cheeky Dogs out, a few other videos that maybe you would like to watch, and I'll see you all in another video. Bye!